for coverage you can count on. It's the KFOX-14 Morning News.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Shelton Dotson. We have some breaking news for you this morning as El Paso police are on the scene after Interstate 10 is closed. That after 2 people are killed in a car crash early this morning. We're gathering all the details right now. We'll have a live report from that scene in just a moment. But first, here's meteorologist Brad Montgomery with a quick check of our forecast. Brad?
Thanks, Shelton. Not as hot for today, but still a little windy. Take a live look outside. 70 degrees. KFOX-TV rooftop camera. KFOX early warning storm track Doppler. Right now, temperatures at the airport on the mild side, too. A little bit cooler for you in Las Cruces. Forecast for today. The radar is nice and quiet this morning. 91 degrees El Paso, so that's the good news. Not as hot like yesterday, though. We're talking about west winds about 25 to 35 miles per hour. Some areas could see some blowing dust. For you in Las Cruces, high temperature today around 90 degrees. Not as hot here, but a little windy. We're going to have much more on that, plus your weekend forecast and some rain chances coming up.
Brad, thank you. 5 o'clock straight up as we help you beat the traffic heading out and about this morning. Again, part of the interstate is closed down. We're going to take you live to that scene in just a moment. But one other wreck already to report this morning. This one, El Paso police on the scene of West Paisano eastbound right there at Executive Center. So that's also over here on the west side. That wreck happened just about 20 minutes ago. No details on it yet. But again, avoid the area if you're using Paisano at Executive Center this morning. We'll get more details on that as soon as they become available. But we begin with that breaking news this morning where El Paso police are on the scene after 2 people are killed in a car crash in the Upper Valley. A portion of Interstate 10 is closed at this hour as investigators work to determine how this deadly wreck happened. KFOX 14 Morning News reporter Ruben Veloz was first on the scene this morning. He's live near I-10 and Trans Mountain. Ruben?
Well, Shelton, we just got here near the scene a few minutes ago. This is what it looks like behind me. Now, police officers are investigating this deadly accident. What we do know right now and what police are telling us is that 2 people are dead. We don't know how this accident happened, but it did happen a few minutes ago. We do know that South Desert Boulevard and I-10 East are both closed at this time from Trans Mountain all the way to Artcraft. Again, this will affect some major traffic for several hours, I'm being told. I-10 West and North Desert Boulevard isn't being affected, but again, 2 people are dead as a result of a deadly collision. We're going to continue to be out here live and hopefully getting you the latest developments as we get it. Reporting live in West El Paso, Ruben Veloz, the KFOX 14 Morning News.
Okay, that news just breaking. We'll have more coming up in a moment. Continuing coverage as well this morning on the controversial case surrounding the dismissal of the girls basketball coach out at Franklin High School. Now the news has gone from bad to worse for former coach Lauren Hill. The district says she will no longer be able to coach at Franklin or even teach there. However, she will be able to teach at another school within the district. The former coach was being investigated by the district for a personnel matter, which the district says they cannot disclose. Well, during last night's big board meeting, dozens of supporters of Coach O'Neill showed up to rally for her, all of them asking the board of managers to let O'Neill keep her job. Her supporters say they're still at least glad that O'Neill can at least go teach someplace else.
She's an amazing coach, so I would have loved for her to coach, but I mean, at this point, I'm just glad that she's clear and she can teach again.
And it doesn't matter about the coaching because no matter where she is, you know, they're going to be lucky to have her.
The district has not said where O'Neill will end up teaching next school year. UTEP may miss out on a huge chunk of money after billions of dollars in construction funding for Texas University falls through. The funds died because of a disagreement between the Texas House and the Texas Senate. UTEP was expected to receive up to $166 million to be used to build a brand new research building. We sat down with UTEP Vice President Richard Adato to ask him about the loss of money and the building, what it means for UTEP's Tier 1 chances.
The way we define achieving Tier 1 is $100 million in research expenditures and awarding 100 doctoral degrees in a year, in an academic year. We're well on our way towards $100 million in research expenditures. I think we're over 70 million now, and we're, I think, somewhere above 70, 80 doctoral degrees a year.
Now, remember, a special session has been called, so Adato says he hopes lawmakers will reconsider the funding in the weeks to come. This morning, the town of Anthony, Texas has a new mayor, and some residents there are outraged because they weren't part of the selection process. We get the story from KFOX 14 Morning News reporter Bill Malugin.
Tempers flared as the two new council members demanded an election for the town's new mayor, only to be outvoted by the veterans of the council 3-2 as they appointed former councilman Luis Vela to the position, angering residents who never had a chance to vote.
It was obvious what they had already planned and set in stone. If they weren't planning to appoint Mr. Vela, who's a good man, but if they weren't planning to appoint him and he didn't know, he wouldn't have been at the meeting to defend himself.
I don't think that the people have been given a chance to actually select the mayor, and this is putting someone who was actually voted out back in.
I spoke with the newly appointed mayor shortly after the meeting ended.
A few weeks ago, you were voted out of office by the people that live here, and now the council appointed you as the new mayor. Do you have a message to those people, any way to maybe reconnect with them?
Well, the only message I have is I thank them for the support that they gave me in the past, and I hope that I can continue to do what I've done before and now with the mayor capacity. And I love this town, and I want what's best for this town.
For the residents, they left the meeting filled only with a sense of frustration.
Basically, they put their council back together. Like I said, Mr. Vela is a good man, but it's the process and it's the lack of democracy that is just maddening with the people of Anthony.
I think it's sad that the citizens of Anthony haven't been able to vote for a new mayor, but same old small town politics.
Bill Malugin, the KFOX 14 Morning News.
And some folks last night also were questioning whether it's legal to appoint someone as mayor who isn't currently serving on the city council. And we found out that in Anthony, it is perfectly legal. Your time now is 5:06. In other news this morning, former Socorro City Representative Jesse Gandara Jr. will be in court later this morning. El Paso County Sheriff's deputies, you'll remember, arrested Gandara back in April when they say they found dead and neglected chickens on his property while executing a search warrant there. Gandara's court appearance is scheduled for 9 o'clock this morning to face those animal cruelty charges. You can look for full details on the case coming up on KFOX 14 News at 5 with John and Erica. KFOX 14 and the Chamber of Commerce of El Paso are teaming up to give you a chance to hear one last time from the runoff candidates, including those running for mayor. The forum takes place June the 3rd from 6 until 7 p.m. and we'll carry it live both on air and online at KFOX-TV.com. Among those most highly anticipated is Oscar Leeser, who is in a runoff for the mayor's seat. However, the Chamber's CEO says Leeser has not yet committed.
As of this moment, Mr. Leeser has and his campaign have decided not yet to participate in any of the forums or debates that have been offered.
Mr. Dayoub says that with or without Leeser, that forum will go on as planned. He also says that the Chamber's 1,800 members have been invited, as has the public. Well, it's been 2 years in the planning now, and now it's going to come true. A luxurious 4-star attraction hotel coming to the Sun City. Brad?
And it looks like more tornadoes for the middle of the nation. Here in the borderland, a live look outside, not as hot, around 70 degrees right now. KFOX-TV rooftop camera. We'll have our forecast too on the KFOX 14 Morning News. It's coverage you can count on.
10 minutes after 5 o'clock. Welcome back to the KFOX 14 Morning News, everyone. Lots of problems out there to traffic to report about, including here on the west side, at least in the Upper Valley, where there is a fatal accident taking place on Interstate 10 near Trans Mountain. In fact, part of Interstate 10 eastbound between Trans Mountain and Artcraft remains closed this morning. The same stretch of South Desert Boulevard is also closed between Trans Mountain and Artcraft as police just now getting on scene. We'll take you live out to the scene to get the very latest coming up at the bottom of the hour. Another accident on Paisano at Executive Center Boulevard. Police on the scene of that one as well. So we're not off to a good start at all. More details on that fatal accident coming up in just a moment. Brad?
All right, a live look outside. Some areas seeing some breezy conditions this morning. 69 degrees, KFOX-TV rooftop camera. West winds at 7. KFOX early warning storm track Doppler. Nice and quiet out there this morning. Temperatures 75 right now at the airport. El Paso 62 for you in Las Cruces, 63 in Deming. The breezes keeping our temperatures up just a little bit this morning. Dew points again very, very dry. Not so much single digits, but still into the teens and 20s this morning. There's that higher moisture lurking just off toward the east once again for today. West winds will continue the breezy, windy category as we go through your Wednesday. Notice the morning hours fairly quiet again, but some areas east and northeast El Paso seeing some breezier conditions this morning, but everywhere this afternoon, winds about 25 to 35 miles per hour. Could see some stronger winds in and around Del City for the afternoon hours. The winds will be dying down for tonight. Just breezy conditions for tomorrow, and tomorrow temperatures start to go back up again. Take a look at the next couple of days. 91 degrees, a little windy for today. Once again, pretty much like it was yesterday. 93 breezy for your Thursday. 90 for you in Las Cruces. Temperatures down, the winds up. And it looks like Thursday, the temperature's up, the winds will be going down. We'll talk more about the forecast, plus the expected severe weather for the center of the country coming up.
All right, thank you, Brad. Well, summer's almost here, and your kids are definitely going to want something to quench their thirst. We have some fun summer drink ideas without all the extra sugar and the calories. We'll tell you all about that. Plus, possible additional costs added to the ballpark downtown, reaction from City Council, and what it means for the future stadium. That's next on the KFOX 14 Morning News.
Here's where to find the cheapest gas in El Paso. Right now, here's what you can find on KFOX-TV.com.
And if you're just waking up, good morning, everyone. Time now 5:16. In the news this morning, build the ballpark and do it on budget. That is the message City Council sends to city staff in the face of possible increases to the $50 million project for the downtown baseball stadium. KFOX 14 Morning News reporter Genevieve Curtis has our story.
In the words of Mayor John Cook, Tuesday's discussion at City Council brought a whole new meaning to the expression ballpark estimate. City Council was not pleased with staff asking for a $5 million increase to the stadium project and adding $5 million in other projects the baseball contractors agreement.
We will deliver the project as we promised the community for the price we committed to the community. So, and not a penny over. And we're not going to accept any sort of revisions. And we are absolutely confident that they can get this job done. That's why we hired the best of the best, and we're going to hold them accountable for it.
Instead, Council approved $52.8 million, which includes the $50 million in ballpark bonds, $1 million for the public art project, and $1.8 million for the cost of issuing the bonds. But it also includes around $800,000 in the cost the city racked up fighting the lawsuits against the stadium. The city manager says the possible cost increase came from extras the ownership group tacked on.
Now, the ownership group wanted some additional amenities. Those amenities were not forecasted into the original project. They're things that they would like to have.
Those features include extra suites, a restaurant, a third deck, and water features. Council's response is if Mountain Star wants it, they can pay for it.
Absolutely. If there are extra features that exceed the budget that we allotted for, that the ownership group thinks would be important to the stadium, I encourage them to participate.
Team part owner Paul Foster says that's something they still have to discuss.
Well, we've never had a discussion about that. I wouldn't want to get out ahead of that.
Genevieve Curtis, the KFOX 14 Morning News.
Also, Joyce Wilson asked to delete the items, which would have included $5 million in pre-approved projects like streets, sidewalks, and landscaping into the ballpark contractors agreement. Those items will now be bid out separately. In other news this morning from our exclusive Las Cruces Bureau, a hospital could now be built at the former Las Cruces Country Club site. KFOX 14's media partner, the Las Cruces Sun News, reports that the city's Planning and Zoning Commission has filed an application to build and operate Park Ridge Medical Center. If approved by the commission, the hospital would hold 42 beds and would operate as a full-service hospital specializing in cardiac health care. A 4-star hotel service is coming to the Sun City. The El Paso City Council gives approval to the upscale $64 million Western Hotel project. It will feature concierge service as well as presidential and executive suites. The 220-room hotel will be built on a vacant lot at Airing and Bowie.
We believe that that market already exists. It's just, you know, unfortunately, we didn't have a four-star hotel. So definitely looking at attracting additional types of tourism and business persons who are looking to do business here in El Paso and wanting to stay at a four-star hotel.
I misspoke. That will be built at Airway and Boeing. The hotel will also feature a restaurant and a bar. Construction slated to start within 6 to 8 months from now. Project's going to take about 2 years to completely build. All right, 5:19 as we head back outside and help you beat the traffic this morning. We want to take a real quick check up in Las Cruces to see if we have any problems there. Nothing going on in the city of the Crosses this morning, which is good news. The news is not nearly good, though, as good as we come back down here to El Paso, checking our TxDOT cameras. We do have a fatal crash, 2 people dead on Interstate 10 eastbound near I-10, in between I-10 and on I-10, in between Trans Mountain and Aircraft. In fact, that stretch of road, I-10 eastbound as well as South Desert Boulevard closed down at this hour as investigators are on the scene. We're going to take you live to the scene for the very latest coming up in about 10 minutes. Brad?
All right, a live look outside, 69 degrees, the law office of Michael Gopin. Breezy to windy again this afternoon. KFOX early warning storm track Doppler. Radar quiet for us. Temperatures nice out there. 63 in Las Cruces, rather mild though. 70s for us here in the El Paso area. 72 even in Alamogordo this morning. Take a look at the satellite picture. That broad trough of low pressure that's kind of dug out through the western U.S. finally starting to shift off toward the east. And you can see some of these disturbances. One of those right there going to produce a lot of severe weather from Texas up through Oklahoma, Kansas, right up into Nebraska this afternoon. Unfortunately, could be some strong tornadoes once again for today and in areas where they don't need it. As that swings through and passes by to the north of our region, we're going to see some breezy to windy conditions again, pretty much like we saw yesterday. Had a wind gust yesterday at the airport up to 38 miles per hour. Similar conditions for today. We'll see some areas of light blowing dust for the afternoon. Zooming in locally for the satellite picture, partly cloudy skies, some of those high clouds swinging off toward the east. I think we'll see mostly sunny skies as we go through the afternoon for today. Take a look at Futurecast, zoomed it out just a little bit here. There's that little disturbance passing through, moving through Albuquerque as we go through the early morning hours. Again, as that moves off toward the east, firing up some big time thunderstorms for the afternoon hours. For El Paso and Las Cruces, we're going to be on the southern side of that trough, continued breezy to windy conditions with those westerly winds, but as you can see here, staying dry. We're going to watch though by the weekend for some moisture to try to move in from the southeast once again, giving us some chances for showers and storms. 5-day forecast with the weekend always in view. 91 degrees for today. Windy at times again this afternoon. Breezy for your Thursday. Temperatures headed back up. 93 degrees, 96 for our Friday. Partly cloudy skies for your Saturday. Then the moisture starts to move in Sunday on into Monday. About a 10 to 20% chance of showers and storms. Highs remaining in the 90s. Looks like a storm system off the west coast of California will kind of induce a southerly flow along with a cool front coming in from the east Sunday on into Monday, and that'll bring that moisture in with those rain chances. Las Cruces, 90 degrees for today. Windy at times. 92 breezy for a Thursday. Getting hotter going into the weekend. 95 for your Friday. Then the moisture comes in Sunday on into Monday, but a 10 to 20% chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Highs remaining into the 90s, but we'll keep a close eye on these rain chances early next week.
All right, the weekend looking great. Thank you, Brad. A train derailment leads to a spectacular explosion near Baltimore. The caught on camera moment you will not want to miss. And they are a favorite footwear of people here in the Sun City, and we have some tips to keep the flip-flops from hurting your feet. That's next on the KFOX 14 Morning News. It's coverage you can count on. Welcome back, everyone, in your Health Watch this morning. As the temperatures rise, kids are certainly looking for something to satisfy their thirst. Dietitians say when it comes to lemonade and iced teas, you're better off making your own rather than using a mix.
Some lemonades or sweet tea can have up to 9 teaspoons of sugar, depending on the size or where you get it from. Why don't you try making your own homemade lemonade, just using natural lemons without the added sugar?
Now, Harwood also suggests tossing some frozen fresh fruit into some water just to make it more appealing for the kids. And things like those sport drinks and the caffeinated beverages, well, those should be avoided if at all possible. In other news, flip-flops are fun and fashionable in the warmer weather, and that's always the case here in the Sun City. But doctors say there are a few things to keep in mind in order to avoid hurting your feet. For one, flip-flops with good arch support will help you avoid foot pain.
Am I dead set against flip-flops? No. For very limited use though. Wear them to the beach, wear them to the pool, wear them on vacation, but not to walk through big amusement parks for 3 or 4 or 6 hours a day.
Well, besides wearing them out to the pool, doctors say it's also a good time to wear flip-flops is in the locker room, especially at the gym or at school. That's where they can help protect your feet from germs and from bacteria. Time now is 5:27. Next, a 10-year-old child forced to do something that witnesses could not believe. In fact, it was their photos of the incident that helped land the little girl's parents behind bars.
And a deadly accident shuts down a portion of a major highway in El Paso this morning. How long it's expected to affect the morning commute? That's next on the KFOX 14 Morning News coverage you can count on.
Live look outside, 66 degrees, Bravo Chevrolet Cadillac, some high clouds moving off toward the east. KFOX early warning storm track Doppler. Mostly sunny 1/4 today. Some breezy to windy conditions already. Parts of east and northeast El Paso. Winds 21 miles per hour at the airport, 9 miles per hour for you in Las Cruces. We'll see some breezy to windy conditions again this afternoon. Current temperature 63 in Las Cruces, 75 warm degrees at the airport El Paso, 72 in Alamogordo. Forecast for today, not as hot as we have been. 95 yesterday, around 86 by noon, 91 degrees around 3 p.m. Las Cruces also not as hot here too. 84 degrees around your lunch hour, 90 around 3 p.m. All around the area, west winds about 25 to 35 miles per hour, an occasional gust possible up to 40.
All right, Brad, thank you very much. Time now is 5:31. Heading outside to help you beat the traffic this morning. Quick check of our TxDOT cameras. We do have the big problem, a fatal crash. It's closed part of the interstate. We'll take you live to that scene in just a moment. But as we take a peek on any other wrecks or traffic accidents out and about around the Sun City, and real quick, the only other one that's working is there on Paisano and Executive Center. That one's been out for about an hour now, but that's kind of off on a side street, so it won't be causing too many problems. But we continue with our breaking news this morning, where El Paso police are on the scene after 2 people are killed in a crash in the Upper Valley. A portion of the Interstate 10 is closed at this hour as investigators work to determine just how this deadly wreck happened. KFOX 14 Morning News reporter Ruben Veloz was first on the scene. He has new information just in about the crash itself. Ruben?
Well, Shelton, just a few minutes ago, I learned that a man and a woman died as a result of an accident, a single motorcycle accident that happened around 2 o'clock this morning. Both actually I-10 east from Artcraft to Trans Mountain is closed this morning because of this deadly accident. Public Information Officer Daryl Petrie tells me that the 2 people were riding in a motorcycle when for some reason they lost control near the Artcraft exit on I-10 East. Now, investigators are out here trying to figure out how this accident happened. They do tell me that there was one witness at the accident scene that they are able to question. But again, this is going to affect your morning commute. So you do need to know that I-10 East from Artcraft to Trans Mountain, as well as South Desert Boulevard, is closed this morning. Public Information Officer Daryl Petrie tells me it could last, the investigation could last till about 9 o'clock this morning, or maybe even longer if they have to be out here. Reporting live in West El Paso, Ruben Veloz, the KFOX 14 Morning News.
Okay, Ruben, thank you very much. We also have continuing coverage for you this morning of the turmoil going on at Franklin High School surrounding the former girls basketball coach there. Several students there are standing behind Coach Lauren Hill after the district says not only can she not coach at Franklin High School, she can no longer even teach there now. KFOX 14 Morning News reporter Ruben Veloz is doing double duty for us this morning. He has that story as well.
What you've done to help me get through this, and I appreciate it more than you guys will ever know.
A bittersweet ending for Franklin High School's girls basketball team. Around midnight, they learned Coach Lauren O'Neill won't be returning to Franklin High, but instead will be reinstated to another school. The former basketball coach talked to her teammates over the phone after learning she gets to keep her job.
I have no idea how hard this has been on me and how much I've missed you and what this has done to my life.
We haven't talked to her since she was suspended, so being able to talk to her just for those few seconds was a really big deal for us.
The former coach was being investigated by the district. District officials say it's a personal matter, therefore cannot disclose anything on the matter.
Dozens of supporters showed up to rally for Coach O'Neill during Tuesday's night's board meeting, all of them asking the board of managers to let O'Neill keep her job. According to the students, it was a rumor that started the investigation, which again, KFOX-14 cannot disclose because the district refuses to tell us.
We had a lot of people doubt us. We had a lot of people laugh and mock us and just say awful things.
Parents also tell me they had a hard time watching their girls suffer because of those rumors.
I had to watch her for the last few months, and she wasn't happy about her coach being accused of something she didn't do.
Although O'Neill won't be returning to Franklin High School as a basketball coach, many supporters tell me they're glad she can at least teach somewhere else.
I really don't think she could have returned to a school that didn't support her.
And that was Ruben Veloso reporting for us this morning. The district hasn't said where O'Neill will end up teaching next school year. In other news this morning, investigators looking into Doña County's latest murder have now identified a man they would like to question about it. Deputies say Oel Ponce was last seen with 41-year-old Juan Perez. Perez was involved in a fight last week in Berrino, which caused him to suffer severe head trauma. He died at a hospital days later. Well, now, if you know where deputies can find Ponce, you're asked to call them. Their number is 575-525-1911. A man accused of murdering 3 people near Mesilla takes the stand in his own defense. Our media partners, the Las Cruces Sun News, reporting that Eugene Ferry testified that he wasn't aware of the murders until investigators contacted him the day the bodies were found. Ferry is accused of shooting and killing Giles Delisle and his wife Elga and their business partner Peter Wythe in 2010. Investigators say they think that it was a business dispute that motivated the 3 murders. People in Oklahoma are still trying to pick up the pieces more than a week after the deadly tornadoes hit that state. Now, Governor Mary Folland toured the damage in Moore, Oklahoma. She visited what's left of the neighborhood surrounding Plaza Towers Elementary School. That's where 7 children were killed last Monday when a tornado shredded that building. They were among 24 people who died in the storm. Another 375 people were injured. And KFOX-14 will be hosting a Digithon this Thursday to help the victims of the Oklahoma tornadoes. This will allow you to log on to our website, KFOX-TV.com, and make a donation that way. You'll be able to do this tomorrow between the hours of 11 in the morning up until 5 in the afternoon. You can also call the number that you see right there on your screen if you'd like to help out that way. Every penny that you donate will be sent to organizations such as the American Red Cross for use directly related to this disaster. Time now is 5:37 next. Learning more about the importance of education through the legal system, the program that turns 28 fifth graders into positive role models.
And it looks like we'll see some wind again out there this afternoon. Live look outside, not bad out there this morning. Some breezy conditions east to northeast El Paso. 66 degrees right now, Bravo Chevrolet Cadillac in Las Cruces. We'll talk temperatures and rain chances on KFOX-14 Morning News. It's coverage you can count on.
20 minutes before 6 o'clock on this Wednesday, May the 29th. Help you beat the traffic this morning. We want to check over on the northeast part of town to see if we've got any problems going on other than the normal slowdowns we see there because of all the construction going on. Absolutely no accidents to report. But as we take a peek at our TxDOT cameras this morning, there is a terrible accident involving a fatal motorcycle crash. A man and woman killed on Interstate 10 eastbound in between Artcraft and Trans Mountain. In fact, that stretch of road as well as the frontage road, South Desert Boulevard, completely closed down. It could remain that way until 9 o'clock this morning. So use caution if you're going in that area and expect delays. We're going to have a live report coming up at the top of the hour. But now we want to check in on our forecast with Brad. Brad?
All right, let's take a quick look at the KFOX Interactive Radar. This is the Futurecast mode, and notice as we zoom out here, the temperature is showing 62 degrees in Las Cruces, 75 for us here in El Paso. We're talking about temperatures that are going to be warming up into the lower 90s for today. Not as hot as yesterday's 95 degrees. In-track showers, storms, you can find that on our website, KFOX-TV.com. You can follow us on Twitter. Get your conditions before you head out the door. We're at KFOX Weather Team.
Thank you, Brad. Well, we've all seen that rule, no shirt, no shoes, no service. Why this store may now have to add no saddles to the list. Wait until you see this one. Plus, an Arizona woman held in a Mexican prison accused of drug smuggling is scheduled to be back in court today. What's at stake for that mother of 7 and grandmother of 2 next on the KFOX 14 Morning News.
Here's where to find the cheapest gas in Las Cruces. If you have a news story, call the KFOX 14 News Hotline at 845-KFOX. Or in New Mexico, call 575-524-1414.
Welcome back, everyone. 15 minutes before 6 o'clock, where Texas lawmakers have cut millions of dollars in funding for the new visitor center planned at the Franklin Mountain State Park out of the state budget. The budget was passed by the Texas House on Sunday. State Representative Marissa Marquez tells us that she will keep fighting to try and get that money back. Meantime, workers out at the park say they will do what they can to try and attract visitors there.
We have been operating in this way since the park was open. So we're going to continue to do our work diligently and try to bring more people to the outdoors.
Now, the park had planned to build that new visitor center on Trans Mountain Road right next to the Museum of Archaeology and the Border Patrol Museum. Out of our exclusive Las Cruces Bureau this morning, the City of the Crosses brings in a green team to help spruce up the public parks there. The Las Cruces Parks and Recreation Department is partnering with Groundwork Doña Ana to plant 500 trees in local parks and public grounds. The labor is actually going to be performed by some school kids in Las Cruces and will be paid for with a grant from the Youth Conservation Corps. The project is expected to be finished sometime this summer, probably around late July. Workforce Solutions Upper Rio Grande is holding a job fair this afternoon for construction workers. GARCOM is working with Workforce Solutions to fill multiple positions they have, including ones for a backhoe operator, construction laborers, and concrete finishers. Now, the hiring event will run from 1 until 4 this afternoon at the agency's Lower Valley Employment Center. That's located over on North Loop. A former Socorro High School student wants to teach your kids how to try and stay in shape and healthy this summer. Priscilla Escobar has teamed up with Socorro ISD to form the SISD Summer Camp. Kids will learn about their health, how to eat better, and of course, how to get some exercise while they're out of school.
I remember when I was little, I really didn't know anything about nutrition. I had no idea what the food groups were or what the nutrients were.
Now, there will be 2 summer camp sessions. The first one is starting next Monday. Several slots are still available. If you'd like to sign up for one, just go over to KFOX-TV.com, and when you get there, just click on this story. Time now is 5:47. In other news, 28 fifth grade students from Burleson Elementary in South Central El Paso graduate from the Positive Role Model program. That program is actually designed to teach students about the importance of education by learning about the legal system and related professions in it. It's sponsored by the El Paso Women's Bar Association. The program consists of 10 monthly sessions during which the students get a chance to visit state and federal courts.
And they hear about the law, they get to learn about the different courts, the different processes that we have. They always like the drug dog.
Now, students also hear presentations about the setup of the courts, how the cases are handled, and jobs within the court system itself. In other news this morning, an Arizona woman who's locked up in a Mexican prison accused of drug smuggling will be back in court later on today. That's when a judge is expected to hear the case against the 41-year-old mother of 7 and decide whether she'll go free or remain behind bars in another country. KFOX 14 Morning News reporter Andrew Spencer has our story.
Well, I got to see my wife today for about 15 minutes, and we just say we love each other, and we're hoping for the best outcome.
The husband of Yanira Maldonado says he's more hopeful than ever his wife will soon go free. Mexican authorities took the 41-year-old mother of 7 into custody a week ago. While making their way home after attending a family funeral, the bus they were on was stopped at a military checkpoint. Officials initially said they found 12 pounds of marijuana under her husband's seat, but then freed him, saying the pot was actually under his wife's seat, arresting her. Since then, the family has worked feverishly for her freedom.
As the United States, I believe that they would already let her go. It's that strong a case.
Family members have only been allowed brief visits at the woman's prison in Nogales, Mexico, but have shared with her about the outpouring of support.
And I told her about all the support on the outside, and She had a big smile on her face.
In fact, witnesses from the bus testified Tuesday on Maldonado's behalf that she did not bring the drugs on board.
We think she was framed. I mean, she went over to an aunt's funeral. She's a good person. She's a church lady, and this is just unfair.
The judge is expected to hand down a decision on whether to free the Arizona mom by Friday evening. Loved ones are hoping for an immediate release and an end to this nightmare. Andrew Spencer, the KFOX-14 Morning News.
10 minutes before 6 o'clock, helping to beat the traffic this morning. We want to check over on the east side of town and see if we got any problems going on. We got a big problem going on in the Upper Valley, but over there on the east side of town, on the interstates or on the, is that the Spur 601 or on the loop? I'm sorry, there's absolutely no problems to report over there. Checking our text.cams real quick again. Part of the interstate I-10 eastbound is closed down between Artcraft and Trans Mountain due to a motorcycle crash that claimed 2 lives this morning. A live report coming up right about the top of the hour around 6 o'clock. Brad?
All right, take a look at some of the winds we're seeing out there. Breezy to windy conditions, parts of El Paso, East El Paso, even on the west side, seeing some lighter winds, but 21 miles per hour at the airport there, 15-mile-per-hour winds at the airport for you in Las Cruces. Evaporative coolers working well with our cooler high temperature of 91 degrees for today. They'll be working at a 1, which is at the good end of the scale. 5-day forecast for the weekend always in view. Staying dry going into the weekend, then the rain chances return. Around 91 degrees for today. Windy at times, breezy for tomorrow, 93 degrees, 96 for Friday, mid-90s for your Saturday, 10% chance of a shower and storm for our Sunday, maybe about a 20% chance for your Monday. Temperature still holding into the 90s, but the rain chances returning second half of the weekend into early next week.
People living in Iowa are dealing with severe flooding after storms dumped 8 inches of rain in that state, and now at least 1 death has been reported as an elderly man is swept away by floodwaters while he was still inside of his SUV. KFOX 14 Morning News reporter Ainsley Earhart has our story.
Inches of rain over the last few days, leaving a number of areas across Iowa inundated with water. The flooding is so widespread, Governor Terry Branstad has issued a disaster proclamation for 13 counties.
This is one of the worst ones that we've had for quite a few years.
Portions of at least 10 state highways are closed and covered in water. Road crews, aided by firefighters, are busy trying to keep some roadways open.
I believe we're going to hold our own. Seems like the levels are going down just a little bit. We were kind of concerned that we were going to have water come over the road, but so far we've been lucky enough to hold it.
Workers say keeping the traffic flowing could be a matter of life and death.
If it closes, we ain't got no way to the ambulances, ain't got no way to the hospitals.
In other areas, cars can be seen submerged in water, leaving some to make their way around by kayaks.
We paddled uptown one time and came back, and now we're going out again.
Several residents have been forced to evacuate their homes. Others are dealing with flooded basements.
This morning it started to come up through the sewer. I'm used to this stuff, living down here in the flood district. I really don't have anything down there real valuable, knowing this could come.
While farmers normally wish for rain, some say it's too much.
We'd had some rain earlier to kind of soak things up and kind of get the crop started, but now it's we're at a point where we could do without any more for a few days again.
Making matters worse, the National Weather Service says storms could pop up in the coming days, causing even further flooding. In New York, Ainsley Earhart, Fox News.
Meanwhile, people in Kansas are reporting a possible tornado that blew through Nahoma County, that's north of Topeka. Several buildings there are flat near the town of Corning after the storm tore through the area. There are no reports, though, of any injuries at this time. Police in Pennsylvania arrest a couple for putting their child inside of a dog cage. Abby Carlson and Thomas Fishinger, who live north of Pittsburgh, are now facing felony charges of endangering the welfare of a child. Witnesses reportedly saw the couple's 10-year-old daughter strapped in a dog cage in the back of a pickup truck. Photos of the incident led to the couple's arrest.
She in the cage at any time that the vehicle was being operated on a roadway?
Yes, sir.
And you weren't concerned about maybe something bad happening with her back there?
I guess I was, but with everything going on.
It never occurred to you that, well, the dog's just going to have to deal with it till we get home?
I don't want the dog to suffer on it. I don't want, that's like animal cruelty to me. You know what I mean? A dog crying like that.
The couple claims that their daughter was placed in that cage in order to calm down their dog, which had, in their words, been making a fuss. Incredible. 2 people are dead after a plane crashes in Arizona. The wreckage also starting a small wildfire in the area. Investigators say the single-engine plane took off from an airport in Flagstaff and crashed shortly after takeoff south of that city near the town of Mountain Air. Just missing some homes there, in fact. Cause of that crash is still unknown this morning. Meanwhile, a train derailment damages several buildings near Baltimore, and that dramatic video of an explosion just moments after the derailment as well. A freight train and a commercial truck collided, setting off that explosion and also triggering a very large fire. The truck driver was actually the only person who was injured. He is in the hospital. He is in serious but stable condition this morning. A Good Samaritan rescues a grandmother and her 2 grandchildren after their car plunges into a swimming pool. This happened in Yorba Linda, California. The 66-year-old woman was just driving down the street when she says her vehicle careened right off the road. Why is still not clear. It ended up going right through the backyard fence of a home and right into the pool. She had her 6- and 9-year-old granddaughters inside of that car. All 3 of them were rescued and all 3 are said to be okay. A liquor store customer causes trouble with the owner by bringing in his pet, and it wasn't just any pet either. This man and his pony walked into the liquor store in Warren, Rhode Island. Store's owner says that he really wasn't upset with the pony being in the store. Rather, it was the fact that the pony, let's just say, made a mess on the floor and the owner didn't want to clean it up.
The horse walks in, and all of a sudden, he just starts doing his thing all over the floor. He just seemed a little disengaged with what was going on around him because he didn't have a clue that his horse even did that. So I was very, very puzzled by that.
As number 2, not number 1, Brad. Police were called, and the owner was ordered to clean up the pony's mess, and after that, no charges were filed. Incredible. Anthony, Texas, you have a new mayor and some angry people. People there living there not too happy why they had no voice in the selection of the man. Plus, a group of high school students are honored with the recognition they received from El Paso City Council. We'll tell you all about it next.
And El Paso police investigating a deadly accident on a major interstate, how this could affect your morning commute. Next on the KFOX 14 Morning News, coverage you can count on.